Okay, this wasn't the first video I wanted to put on here, like, right away. But I'm gonna do it anyways because guess what I got yesterday? Dude, look at that thing! It's so fucking... Like, dude, I am fucking hyped for this game now. Like, my first ever PS5 is that one. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. Oh, and also before I go, catch me on stream tonight. My name on both the purple app and red app are the same name as on here. Alright, have a good day. Okay guys, it's official. We are now 1 week away from Spider-Man 2 coming out. And because it's coming out, I kind of want to put forward a theory for you guys for what I think can happen in the game. Before I get into that though, I know there are some leaks going around and some spoilers. I think we've only seen one, and it was in regards to the suits, which I'm not going to say here. So, if there is any leak or spoiler that's put in the comments of this before the game comes out, that comment's getting deleted and you're getting blocked. But moving on. I think that towards the end of Peter having the black suit, he's going to turn into a version of Venom for a very small period of time. Before anyone says anything, I know he's not going to be the main version of Venom in the game. My personal thing for that is either going to be Harry or Craven. But I think that towards the end of Peter having the black suit, he's going to turn to a version of Venom after being pushed to the furthest he's ever been to before. And why is that? I actually am running out of time, so come back for part 2 to hear why I think that is going to happen. This is a part 2 to my theory about what's going to happen in Spider-Man 2. If you haven't seen that, fuck off and go see the first part. You gone? Good. So, I think the way Peter's going to turn into Venom is he's going to kill someone. And I know it sounds far-fetched, but I mean, based on how he was sounding in the trailers and everything, and how Yuri Lowenthal flat out said as well that it was hard for him to imagine not being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, it's pushed me to think he is going to either hurt, severely hurt, or kill someone. And I think that'll push him so far over the edge that he becomes a version of Venom for at least a small amount of time. My 3 theories of who it could be that he kills is either going to be Craven, which should be an obvious one, Yuri, which is a semi-obvious one. The final one I have is him killing Rio, Miles' mom, which pushes them apart a lot more. Far-fetched, maybe, but that's the point of a theory. Some of yours in the comments. Alright guys, we're officially in the home stretch. Spider-Man 2 comes out in under 2 days. And because it's coming out in 2 days, I am excited to say that I am going to be doing a playthrough series for the game starting on Friday. The frequency of how I'm going to be releasing it, I'm not sure. I'm probably going to do 2 every week, every other day. I'm not entirely sure yet. But that will be happening. I'm excited because it's going to be my first ever playthrough when it comes to a game other than Mortal Kombat, but that was mainly be streaming, so whatever. Oh, and speaking of streaming, I'm going to be streaming me doing side quests for the game every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and Mondays if I can allow it, strictly on YouTube. Don't get mad at me, be mad that PlayStation can't do cross-platform streaming. But seriously, let me know in the comments how excited you are, because I am fucking hyped. And there's my little PlayStation 5 Spider-Man 2 edition back there, just sitting there, and then there's the controller as well. Alright, I'm done flexing, time to go back to Miles Morales so I can start playing that all over again. Okay, so I think I made a mistake. So in my last video, I said that I was going to be streaming me playing Spider-Man 2 side missions Friday, Saturday, today, and Wednesday. And I was going to record gameplay of the main missions. However, the night I tried to record, for some reason my audio capped out at 15 minutes. And I didn't notice that until 3 hours into me recording. And at that point, I just said, fuck it, I'm just gonna play the game. Here's the thing though, I have not beaten it yet. So instead of starting at where I'm at right now, I'm just gonna create a new game and start from the beginning. So if you want, I'm gonna be streaming at least on YouTube today from 3 to 6 for Spider-Man 2. Same with Wednesday and Friday. Hope you guys are there. Okay, so Spider-Man 2 has been out for a good minute. Because I recently just beat it, I kind of want to go over my top 10 favorite suits from the game. Remember, this is my own personal opinion. If you don't like it, put down in the comments your favorite suits. Now with all that being said, coming in at number 10 is the Life Story suit. That was one of my most requested suits for the game, and the fact that they actually put it in makes me very happy. Coming in at number 9 is the Classic suit, because it is just, it's a classic suit. No one can ever beat a classic. And also its dark blue and red variation is probably the best variation. What kills me, number 8 is the Rainbow suit, but I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying there are a few suits that I thought were better than this one. Same with number 7, the Raven Black suit. Even though it's great, there are a few black suits that I like more in this game. Coming in at number 6 for me is the Black Suit Variation 1 that is in the story. I don't know why people hated it so much. It is probably one of my favorite suits in the game, and I just love the detail. Back for part 2 for my top 5 suits for the game. As promised, here's my part 2 for my top 10 favorite suits for Peter in Spider-Man 2. Without wasting any time, number 5 for me is Advanced Suit 2.0. That suit is a vast improvement over the first one. And also with the color variant with the red and black is so nice. Alright, number 4 for me is the Black Suit Variant 2 for the story. And that one is just, it's so menacing. The detail, how evil it looks in that one scene from the game where Peter yells "Where" with that suit is just, it's so good. Keeping up with the black suit theme, number 3 is the classic black suit. Now this was not in the game, but I argue it should have been. It's just so good. Like after I got that one, I didn't even want to touch the other two. Coming in at number 2 for me is the final swing suit from Spider-Man No Way Home. It took forever to get it, but after you get it, it looks great, and I'm honestly so happy that it was in this game, which is why it's my number 2. Do I even need to explain? Sure, I needed a few tweaks, but now it looks better than ever. Don't worry, Miles is next.
Listen, I just find it funny that whenever I decide to try and take a break, that's when a bunch of shit happens. Like, first off, we finally got an update about the new Game Plus update for Spider-Man 2 coming out in the beginning of March. There's the official release of the Deadpool 3 trailer. Just yesterday, we got the official trailer for X-Men 97 coming out. And then last but not least, on Valentine's Day, Marvel decided to drop this! Why do I even bother taking breaks anymore? There is so much shit coming out, and I am so excited about it, but fuck, I am so far behind on everything. And if you can't tell physically, I have not really been keeping up with myself. I need to get on top of that shit. It's starting to really become a problem. Bottom line, comic book fans are going to be feasting hard the next few years. Except Madam Web that came out. I haven't seen that yet. I'll post something about it whenever I get the chance to watch it, I promise.
Okay, so I've tried recording this already and the video didn't come out to how I wanted it to come out, but I wanted to talk real quickly about everything that's going on with the rumors about what's going on with Spider-Man 4. So it came out recently that it's being rumored that while Kevin Feige wants to wait to get Spider-Man 4 out, Sony is trying to basically strong-arm him into getting the movie out in the summer of 2025. And in case you didn't know, there's a bunch of movies coming out during that time, like Fantastic Four and fucking Superman Legacy. And what I'm taking from that is the fact that they probably do not have a script written out yet. They do not have a director. They don't even have a director right now. None of the cast were confirmed to come back, except for probably Tom Holland. And, like, Sony, what the fuck are you doing? Like, we went from wanting it to be a grounded, street-level movie, like how Spider-Man's supposed to be, to then it being a thing to lead into the Avengers, and then it back to being street-level, and then Sony, for some reason, wanting it to be a No Way Home Part 2, bringing Tobey and Andrew back for no reason. And now, not only are Kevin Feige and Sony going back and forth about what the movie's even gonna fucking be about, they're trying to debate when it's gonna come out? How about you drop a date for it to come out when you actually get something done for the movie? I know that's basically the Kevin Feige side, but fucking hell, man. Like, I honestly just want a grounded MCU Spider-Man movie. That's it. Because we haven't gotten anything super grounded for a Spider-Man movie, honestly, I think since Spider-Man 1 in 2002 or Spider-Man 2 in 2004. And I'm sorry, but if Sony wins this fight with Kevin Feige to try and force Spider-Man 4 to come out during the summer when Fantastic Four and Superman Legacy are supposed to be out, I'm sorry, but Spider-Man 4 is going to lose that fight. Like, again, don't get me wrong, I'll see Spider-Man 4 still, like, just to see what happens, but after everything with Madam Web that came out today as well, like, I'm worried. Like, Madam Web is also just fucking tanking in the box office right now. Like, it is the first movie since Fant4stick to not debut #1 in the box office for a superhero film. Ever.
And that is because A, no one really wanted a Madam Web movie, and B, it's because everyone's telling everyone how much it sucks. Like, Sony does not give a fuck about the IP that they have. Don't get me wrong, at one point they did, but now they really don't. And before anyone tries to bring up the Raimi trilogy or even the Across the Spider-Verse movies. First of all, the Across the Spider-Verse movies are a part of Sony Animation, which is a different department in general. Secondly, yeah, they released the Raimi movies, but they're the reasons why Spider-Man 3 tanked, or at least Avi Arad. You know what? This actually be pointed more towards Avi Arad. Avi Arad is the reason why Spider-Man 3 tanked, because he pretty much forced Sam Raimi into putting Venom in the movie. Avi Arad is the reason why Spider-Man 2 tanked, because he was more focused on trying to get a Sinister Six set up. And even though I like the Venom movies, they're not good movies. The Venom movies are a good popcorn flick that you can just turn your brain off and just enjoy it for what it is. But then they released Morbius, which I thought was the worst superhero movie to come out in the 2020s already. But then, based on what I've heard, Madam Web tops it? Again, Sony does not give a fuck about the IP that they have, and honestly, they should just sell all the rights back to Marvel. I know they won't, because it's literally the only way they're making money right now, but that's again the reason why I think they should no longer have the IP. They're doing it for money, not for the fans of these films. I'm sorry this has been a long video, I just had to rant about it, but yeah, fuck Sony. You know what? I just realized that Spider-Man kind of helped inspire the Power Rangers. And if you guys are confused by that, let me explain real quick. And also, don't mind me. I'm having canes because I'm in Orlando right now. But what I mean by that is the fact that the Japanese Spider-Man show that came out in 1978, helped inspire the Power Rangers. Now, if there are any Power Rangers fans out there, I know they were actually inspired by Super Sentai. Like, it's not that hard to tell. It's basically Power Rangers is just Super Sentai with a bunch of white teenagers. However, there are a few things that Power Rangers borrowed from the Japanese Spider-Man show that came out in 1978. The first thing that they borrowed from that was the fact that they could turn into their super selves with a watch they have on their wrist. Now, Super Sentai also had this, but they had it right around the time that Japanese Spider-Man came out. And before that, by what I could see, Super Sentai, the transformation for them was they had to get into these pods and then transform into the, red, like all the Rangers basically, which Power Rangers had right off the bat after those two came out. Now, here's another thing I noticed too. Every episode of the Japanese Spider-Man show ended off with him getting into this giant Mechazord and fighting some big monster. Again, Super Sentai also had this, but again, like I said, I didn't see it really come out until around the time Japanese Spider-Man came out. Now they're owned by the same production studio, so I'm not gonna sit here and say like one was stealing from the other, because they were both literally owned by the same company. However, again, the Japanese Spider-Man show did do it slightly before Super Sentai. If you watch anything from the Japanese Spider-Man show, it is a dead ringer for stuff that happened in the beginning of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like, I saw someone talking about it today, and I actually took a deeper dive into it because they actually misspoke and said that the Japanese Spider-Man show inspired Super Sentai, which, no. Super Sentai was out in 1975. The Japanese Spider-Man show came out in 1978. But it is not off baseline at all, though, to say that Spider-Man basically helped inspire the Power Rangers. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are about that, because I was thinking about it and I was like, holy shit, Spider-Man helped create the Power Rangers. But again, let me know your thoughts. Now I'm gonna go back to eating my chicken. Okay, I have a theory about what they can do for something going on after Deadpool and Wolverine. So this is gonna contain spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie and you're trying to stay away from the trailers, don't watch this video. Don't go in the comments either and then get all mad when you get spoiled. I am warning you right now, this is gonna contain spoilers. Now that those people are gone, here's what I think.
So, in the movie, a lot of characters from the Fox movies came back to reprise their roles, one of which was Daphne Keane as Laura Kinney, aka X-23. And throughout the entire movie, everyone was making jokes, mainly Deadpool, about how Hugh Jackman's gonna be Wolverine till he's fucking 90. And while it's a funny joke, here's what I think they should do instead. Now, is Hugh Jackman's Wolverine legendary? Yes. But here's what I think they should do instead. Instead of recasting Wolverine and having it be a new Logan and have it be someone like Daniel Radcliffe, or as it was shown in the movie as a fan cast, Henry Cavill, have Laura Kinney become the MCU Wolverine. Because based on the looks of it, I think what's going to happen is after Avengers Secret Wars, it's going to do the same thing as it did in the comics, where it combines the Fox universe with the mainline MCU. That's going to bring in a bunch of characters from the Fox universe into the modern day MCU. And that's going to be their whole way of explaining having mutants and everything in that universe. Before anyone says a goddamn thing, yes, I know, Miss Marvel is technically a mutant in the MCU Ray already, but just stick with me. Oh, because of what's going to happen in Secret Wars, either A, Wolverine's going to die, or B, him, X-23, Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Deadpool, all of them are going to be part of the mainline MCU, plus a few others from the X-Men. And if that happens, that could be a way of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine giving the role to Laura Kinney and having her be the mainline MCU Wolverine, because she was Wolverine, or currently is Wolverine, in the comics. And she is a cool ass character. Like, come on, you can't say she wouldn't be awesome as a mainline Wolverine. And plus, on top of that, we would have another legacy character on top of the one we already have. In case you guys don't notice, I'm talking about Sam Wilson's Captain America. Yes, Sam Wilson is Captain America, not Captain Falcon, you fucking... Either way, it would have another legacy character along Sam Wilson taking on the role as Captain America. Daphne Keane could take up the role as the new Wolverine for the new X-Men. And you can't say it would be weird to have X-23 as the mainline Wolverine instead of having it be Hugh Jackman or just Logan first. Like, we don't need to keep Logan as the main Wolverine for 20 plus years when there is another person who could take on the role right there. And on top of that, it's with an actress that a lot of people like and a character we have fallen in love with since Logan. And then we can have a similar, like, story told as Sam Wilson had with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, with him taking up the role as Captain America and having imposter syndrome. Being afraid that she's constantly compared to her dad, which is what a lot of people will do with whatever person comes in to be the new Logan. But again, I guess it's just some of my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, am I on the mark here, or am I completely off? If you think about it, no interpretation of the Black Suit storyline outside of the comics have ever gotten it right. To be honest, I think the only one that really got it right was Spectacular Spider-Man. Not in terms when it comes to, like, timeline-wise, but he had it on the longest, and also on top of that, each episode incorporated different elements of what the suit did to him. Now, before I get into the topic, let me do a quick rundown of the events of the original Black Suit storyline in the comics. Now, originally in the comics, Peter got the black suit during Secret Wars, and he had it on for, I think, a good few months, if my memory's right. Nope, never mind. I was wrong. It was 4 years. Sorry, I thought that was only a few months, but no, it was 4 years he had the black suit in the comics. And bear in mind, I'm not talking about the symbiote and then the cloth one that Black Cat made him. He wore the alien costume for 4 years. No interpretation that'll be outside of the comics will ever get that right ever again. Because when it comes down to it, like, the only real way he can get it done properly is if you have an entire trilogy of movies have it be the Black Suit story arc. Or if you make it a TV show, like a live action show, and have him have it for maybe a good, like, season to season and a half. But outside of the comics, every adaptation of the Black Suit storyline never got the timeline right. Like, let me run them down real quick. So there was the animated cartoon from the 90s, where he had it for maybe a few days, maybe close to a week. Then there was Spider-Man 3, where he had it for about the same amount of time, if I had to guess. Spectacular Spider-Man, he had it for a few weeks, if not close to a month, considering That entire storyline takes place at, like, right after Halloween and right on the day of Thanksgiving. I'm not even gonna touch on Ultimate Spider-Man or Marvel's Spider-Man the cartoon because neither of those got it right in the slightest. And then recently there was Marvel Spider-Man 2 where we had it for a few days, not a week, but slightly under a week. Usually in all those storylines as well, they have Peter starting to lose control of himself with the symbiote after like a good couple days, maybe a day. The only one that didn't have him start losing himself right away was, once again, Spectacular Spider-Man, because they had him have it for a good 3 weeks, so they let that build up to the final episode of him wearing it, where the anger and everything showed. Yet for some reason, after Spider-Man 2 came out, everyone was complaining about Peter not having it on long enough, and let alone not even that, getting almost incredibly evil after a few days. I don't think you guys understand. No version of this story has ever been accurate. The only one that has ever gotten close was Spectacular Spider-Man in 2008. Yet for some reason, everyone got so pissed off with Peter and Marvel Spider-Man 2 having the black suit on for a few days, getting kinda evil and angry until the very last day of him having it, and then losing it. Now, don't get me wrong, I think they should have had the black suit on for far longer. The fact that Sony forced them to cut out shit pisses me off. But making it out like every single other adaptation has gotten it right, and this is the one outlier, is completely ridiculous. I don't care what anyone says, till my dying breath, the worst adaptation that is not Ultimate Spider-Man or the Marvel Spider-Man cartoon was Spider-Man 3. Because, I'm sorry, it was in the span of a week that Peter got the suit. It was in the span of 2 hours where he nearly killed Sandman and didn't feel any remorse for it. And then there was, of course, the stupid-ass fucking breakdancing. And then again, at the end of that week, Venom becomes a thing and is killed off immediately. I don't care if you think that Spider-Man 2 didn't have the best adaptation of the black suit, because you're not wrong, he didn't. But don't make it out like that it is the worst one, because it's definitely not the worst one. Same when it comes to Venom in that game too, because everyone was trying to make it out like Venom is the worst version in that game compared to any other adaptation. Again, completely forgetting that Spider-Man 3 exists. No Venom would be worse than Topher Grace, and I'll stand fucking by that.
Listen, I haven't been really having a great day today. Like, I was working till about 3 to 4 a.m. on a costume I've been trying to put my blood, sweat, and tears into for the past fucking week. That's not even done now for what I need it for this fucking weekend. And now I have to go with my Red Hood costume, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like that one, but fuck me, I've been working so hard on this costume I'm doing. And now I have to drive 5.5 hours now to, Kentucky. Thanks, Helene. But I was not having a great morning. But now, I'm in the car, and as I'm getting in the car, I get notified about something. Not only did Tom Holland confirm Spider-Man 4 is happening, but now we got an official release date. But we also got an official look at Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir. Like, look at that! So, I think us Spider-Man fans over the next few years are gonna be fucking feasting. And I'm gonna try and watch Venom 3 tonight, but I have no idea how that's gonna be because I've heard mixed things from people that I know really loved the first two. So, pray for me. Also, quick thing I wanted to let you guys all know, I'm planning on streaming on either Sunday or Monday, playing Among Us with a bunch of my friends, so I will make sure to update on that by tomorrow, and I hope to see you there.
Okay, so being me last night, just getting out of work, having just an all-around shit day, and then go on Instagram and see this from Screen Rant. If you're wondering what that means, what it's saying right there for that caption from Screen Rant, it's basically confirming that Marvel has something where MJ and Peter can get into a relationship and be boyfriend and girlfriend, but never get married. Now, how do I want to pursue that? Marvel, are you fucking dumb? Getting them back together is something that fans have wanted for years, since One More Day. But no, you see, what you actually gotta do is you gotta have Silk, Gwen, and Black Cat, because they all get Spider-Man way better, or Peter way better, than MJ does. No, they do not. Gwen loved Peter Parker, but she hated Spider-Man. Also, because she didn't even know Peter was Spider-Man when she was alive. And don't even get me started on the toxicity of the relationship between Spider-Man and Black Cat. When she was first introduced, she didn't give a fuck about Peter Parker. All she cared about was Spider-Man. That's it. I like them as friends now because they have more of an understanding as they did when she was first introduced. But I don't think she can ever be seen as a healthy relationship for Peter Parker. But no, we can't have that because last time MJ and Peter were together was in the Sam Raimi movies and people hated MJ. Yeah, but that's because, I'm sorry, I love Sam Raimi and those movies, but he didn't fucking get MJ at all. In the comics, she was never supposed to be the damsel in distress. She did so much cool shit in the comics before One More Day. She knew Peter was Spider-Man back when they were in high school, but never said anything because he wasn't ready. And it also said in that comic that she gets it because she lived the same life of trying to be someone she isn't because of everything with her dad. Like, she not only loves him as Spider-Man, but she loves him as Peter Parker. Which is why, when everyone tries to say that Gwen Stacy is the better relationship for him, they use that line for Gwen. That was not something Gwen did! What they did with Gwen in those movies was basically give her MJ's personality and dye her blonde and call her Gwen Stacy. Like, who Gwen Stacy was in those movies was basically comic book MJ. And that's why, too, when it came to those movies, they had to make Gwen so different from MJ from the Sam Raimi movies. Because MJ in the Sam Raimi movies was Gwen! I have so much I want to say about this, but I am running out of time, so if you guys want me to say more, I will. But bottom line, Marvel, get your head out of your ass.
Okay, so I've seen this debate raging on Twitter over the past several days, and I wanted to talk about this. Now, I know I don't really talk about politics much on this page. I mainly talk about it on my main, so if you want to go see some of my stuff on there, go do that. But I want to talk about this on this page because this has to do with comics, considering this is a comic book page. I wanted to talk about this. So, apparently a few days ago, Anthony Mackie, who is going to be playing Captain America in Brave New World, is coming out in a few weeks. He said this about Captain America, about what he thinks Captain America stands for. He says, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term America should be one of those representations. It's about a man who keeps his word and has honor, dignity, and integrity. And he's 100% right. Captain America has never been a representation of what America is. He's been a representation of what America should be. But apparently right-wing losers don't read fucking comics and says shit like this. Well, his name's Captain America, he represents American values, get used to it. I'm sorry, but no, he hasn't. Literally since issue fucking 1 in 1941. He is first seen in his first issue punching the Charlie Chaplin impersonator before we even entered World War II. And not even talking about that, let's also talk about the fact that he was against the Superhero Registration Act from the original Civil War because it violates their rights. And it got to a point where he was so against what America was standing for after he got unfrozen after World War II, he stopped going by Captain America. But you know, considering we like to talk about the comics here, and these kinds of people don't read a fucking comic or read at all, how about we pull a reference from the movie then? Because in Captain America Winter Soldier, he was against Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. spying on everybody because that's not freedom, that's fear. And then in Civil War, he was against the Sokovia Accords because it goes, again, against their rights like it did in the original Civil War comic, but also because it restricts them from helping as many people as they can, no matter the border. If you want a Captain America that's America first, saying fucking, do you think this A on my helmet stands for fucking France? Go read the Ultimates line. Or if you want a mainline version of Captain America that you fucking want that actually represents American values, look at US Agent. Because, newsflash, Captain America has never been about American values. He's always been about what America could be and should be. And this goes for a lot more than Captain America, and if you want to hear more about that, I will make another video, but bottom line is this. To take the words of Panda Red, they didn't make them political, they've always been political. You just weren't fucking listening. Could someone tell me why the entire theme of this week is basically me just going against a bunch of right-wing grifters about anything having to do with comics? Because yesterday was about Cap, and now it's about a character that I love more than life itself. Because the new Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show came out on Disney Plus this morning, and yesterday, the day before the show even ever came out, and also, after I made my fucking Captain America video, he says this shit. Like, what the fuck does this even mean? Out of all the fears I had for this show, my biggest fears were about it being annoying. Well, shut the fuck up! Spider-Man, with his character, he is just entirely a woke character. He believes in trying to stop the social injustices with people that are marginalized. He is, in and of himself, a woke character in the aspect that he is a broke, intelligent, science major, and he works a dead-end job working for a tabloid that's basically Alex Jones on fucking steroids. He's had numerous stories where he fights against the police. He has had numerous stories where he fights corporate leaders like, you know, in a way in of itself, Kingpin, or fighting Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D., or fighting the Fantastic Four, or the Avengers. Hell, during the Civil War event that I was talking about yesterday when it came to Cap, he was on Iron Man's side originally, and then went to Cap's side because he realized what everything Iron Man was doing was wrong. I'm gonna try and keep this as short as I can because I pretty much got everything out of my system yesterday with Cap, but still, I need this to be known. These characters have always been political and have always been saying these messages. You just never were listening or paying attention. And I'm gonna just leave it. Also, you should follow me on YouTube. I'm pretty funny there. And Instagram. And Blues. And Twitch. I'm gonna start streaming. And, yeah, that's about it. Goodbye. The Fantastic Four trailer looks great. I love all the colors. The casting looks perfect. The Thing design looks amazing. Looks like it was ripped straight out of the comics. Just all around love, like, the futuristic vibe of the movie so far. But that leads me to also at the end of the trailer, we saw Galactus, and he's obviously probably going to be the big bad of the movie. Now, I've seen this Discord about why Galactus shouldn't be the villain of the Fantastic Four movie for a few things. One, it seems like he would be more of like a universe-ending threat. And if they defeat him in this movie and then he appears later on, that makes him not as dangerous considering the Fantastic Four already beat him. And on one hand, I get that, but also I have a different idea for what they might do with him in the movie. So we've seen numerous, pieces of concept art for how the movie's gonna look, and it looks like it's basically a futuristic version of, like, the 60s to 80s era of America. And you can also tell that with just the color difference as well. Like, the movie looks like it's shot in a different, like, color grading than any other MCU movie recently. So I had a little bit of a theory, and I wanted to know what you guys thought of it. If this does take place in a alternate universe of the MCU that we have seen, what if at the end of this movie, the Fantastic Four actually lose? Like, they lose and Galactus does end up completely destroying Earth. Their Earth. And at the end of the movie, something happens where they end up going into the mainline MCU to prepare everyone, saying, like, Galactus is a threat, don't fuck around with him. And then eventually Galactus does come in, and then he turns out to be the big bad of, like, probably their final phase. Because I think Galactus should appear at the very end of the MCU time, because let's be real, this whole series will not go on for another maybe 10 years. The best way I see it is that probably for, like, the final Avengers film, they have Galactus come in and he does end up killing the MCU or something like that, or something happens where it reboots everything. I'm kind of like spitballing here because I saw the trailer like an hour or two ago and I was getting off my lunch, so I wasn't really able to really digest it properly. But either way, that's my theory for it. The movie looks great, the colors look great, the casting looks perfect, and I'm honestly really excited to see it when it drops in July. Okay, hi, I know I've been gone for a minute, and I missed a fucking lot! Like, where should we start? Let's see. We got new footage for Superman, we got new shit for Fantastic Four, we got half of the cast released for Doomsday, and then we not only got an official release date for Beyond the Spider-Verse, but also artwork, but then on top of that, I fucking called it! Thing is, I was telling my friends this for a while, that the next Spider-Man movie should be called Brand New Day. And they're titling it Brand New Day. And then let's not also forget that Marvel Rivals officially dropped new shit for fucking season 2. And all it's proving is that Marvel Rivals devs are nothing but gooners who just love blonde white women in white and blue suits. But let's break everything down that I've missed, starting with everything with Fantastic Four. Now, apparently, we got confirmation from the fact that there's a trailer that they had shown there, but also in the trailer they confirmed that Sue Storm is pregnant? Probably with Franklin Richards? And also, who's with me with thinking that they're probably not gonna win in their movie? Because Galactus is literally like the biggest threat in Marvel. But all around, I'm excited for all that, but also we got a bunch of casts confirmed for Avengers Doomsday, which it's looking like the Avengers and the Wakandans and the original Fox X-Men going against Doom. Like, don't get me wrong, I was excited when I saw a bunch of the original cast, but also the fact that we also are getting Channing Tatum coming back as Gambit. That makes me happy. Like, all around, I'm really excited for Doomsday, and apparently by what they have said, they haven't even showed the full cast yet, which leads me into the next thing I want to talk about, kind of jumping around a little bit. Spider-Man 4's name finally being announced, as well as getting clarification on a bunch of the casting rumors that have been going around for the past several weeks. Like, we might be getting Mr. Fucking Negative! And also, I'm sorry, Sadie Sink is either going to be Harley Cooper or Jean the Wolf. I don't know how I feel about that, though. We're gonna have to wait. But honestly, I'm really excited for Spider-Man 4, but also, it goes in the fact that Peter might not be in Doomsday. Mainly because Spider-Man 4, by the sounds of it, is gonna be set in between Doomsday and Secret Wars. So that's kind of leaving me wondering, like, how it's gonna work into all that. Either way, I'm really excited by what I'm seeing, really excited about what's been said. And honestly, it is shaping up to be one of the most different Spider-Man movies we've gotten in a while. But with all that said, stay tuned for part 2 when I talk about the Superman footage, Beyond the Spider-Verse, and Marvel Rivals Season 2 stuff that's been dropped, because that's also going to be a lot.
Okay, I have a very specific question for all of my fellow Daredevil fans out there. Sorry if I sound like shit. The pollen in the area is super high, and it's making my sinuses want to die. But my question to you guys is, what is your preferred look for Daredevil? Do you prefer the classics and like him in his more just bright red look that he's known to have? Are you a black and red slut like me and like his black and red look from the mid-2010s? Are you a bit more old school and you like his mustard and ketchup design, which is pure sex appeal? Or are you a bit more of like a Frank Miller, Season 1, Season 3 Daredevil fan and like his more down-to-earth look with the black shirt, pants, boots, and the bandana over his face? And before I get a comment of, but where's the Shadowland suit? This is the only incorrect answer to this question. Because this is not a Daredevil look. This is a gimp suit made by the hand. And if you are wondering why I hate this so much, but I like this more, I'll explain right now. And because I'm a costume designer, I like making cosplays all the time, and I'm currently working on a design right now, and it's something I've learned through all the things I've made. The main thing I want to draw attention to is the fact that the red is not just on the logo. It's on the wraps on his hands, it's on the belts, on the holster, it's the red on the boots, and there's red in the eyes too. You can't tell because it's shaded, but his eyes are red. And not only that, but also on top of that, if you look at his chest and his shoulders, there's actual, like, design in the black. Like, there's armor paneling, and it actually looks like it's supposed to take a hit and it's supposed to protect him. But then you compare it to this fucking black latex body condom, and then it loses all of its charm. Like, fuck me, the only red on here are the eyes and the logo that's similar, but then when it comes to the rest of the look, they just fuck up everything else. All it has is two little black-red bands on both hands to hold these stupid little blades for his gauntlets, and a stupid thin little fucking red band going across his thigh. Like, this motherfucker doesn't look like he's about to kill Bullseye, he looks like he's about to go to Bullseye and beg him to pull that band off with his fucking teeth. Basically, what this wants to be is what this is! I'm not even talking about the story of this. This story is fucking great. The problem I have with this is the fucking look. Looks like he's a fucking gimp suit. I don't care what anyone says, I will die on this fucking hill. Oh god, I hate that suit way more than I thought I did. But back to the question, what is your guys' preferred look? Or if it's not even on this list, put it down in the comments. Because one I didn't get to bring up was his Devil in White look from the Chip Zdarsky run, and that is such aura. But again, if you disagree with anything I said, put it down in the comments. Let me know what your guys' preferred look is for Daredevil. Except if it's this. If it's this, I'm sorry, I want to be in your fucking wall.
okay? I know I'm late, but I'm here now, okay? It's fucking beautiful. Like, it's literally the perfect Spider-Man suit for a Spider-Man movie. Like, I remember, like, being up all night, like, wanting to see if this gets leaked because they were filming in Glasgow. Technically last night, but yesterday for them. And it looks so fucking good. Another thing I noticed too is the lenses on this are actually bigger than they were before. Like, just for comparison, this is how they look in this movie. And this is how they looked in Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. Like, honestly, it's just, it's perfect. All I'm gonna say is, I have to make it now, just because now we have the back logo as well, and now we see how all that looks, which also, relatable, Tom. And also we have a close look at how the web shooters look. They're a lot more bulky than they used to be, and honestly, people were like upset that they weren't bringing back the old web shooters he had, but he literally can't use them anymore. He's literally going back to his old clunky ones he had when he had his first suit that we saw in Homecoming. All around, just happy that my boy is back, baby! Okay, so I want to kind of join in this discourse a little bit because there is one part of Spider-Man's origin that people call complete bullshit on. And no, it's not the powers. And no, it's not about the web shooters. It is on how he could make this good of a suit and have it be believable that he could make it. And I know maybe you're thinking, well, I mean, that's to the comics, it's the red and blue costume, and maybe he could have made it. And I agree with you, but I don't get why people are saying this is also not believable. Because a lot of people say, well, that kind of fabric is super expensive, he'd be broke. And I have to say, yeah, you're right. That's why he's broke. Like, the one thing I was able to really find when it comes to fabric that can match this is the blue fabric. Usually it's the screen printed, you know, the normal thing that people see on Spider-Man costumes nowadays that people absolutely love. Well, I found this fabric on Etsy. It's the same kind. Do you wanna know how much it is? What the fuck? Now, is his costume really that unrealistic? Because I can tell you, coming from someone who has made quite a few so far in the past year alone, it's expensive. And I am telling you, he could make it, but he'd be broke. Which he is. Which is why I believe not only this, also this is believable to make. And I mean, honestly, the only unrealistic one that I've seen in the movies is Tobey's, honestly. Not only with the textured fabric, but also the urethane webbing. That is beyond anything when it comes to the other two. Because with the other two, you can pretty much reason the fact that the webbing is made out of puff paint, because it likely was. And even then, it's so far away you can't really tell. But this, that's not puff paint. And also when it comes to this, you can barely see the fucking seams in this. However, when it comes to these two, you can see seams everywhere. Bottom line is, I'm going to stray away from the rest of the Spider-Man fandom when I say that honestly, his suit is probably the most realistic thing about him, because he's always so broke from how much he has to spend on possible fabrics. I haven't taken the fact they're also custom fabrics too, which is even more fucking expensive. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think.
Comes number 13, Mr. All coming from the three-point line right now. Oh shit, that nigga's all fucking it's sucking out his neck. He gon' meet that fucking we gon' kick your dough. 1, 2, 3, and 4, you hit out. Murder, what she wrote. Saw him in the scope, I'm about to from page to the post. He ain't getting no, that nigga died.
You see, this is why you don't let superheroes know you can take a hit, because then they'll just start trying shit.
We just keep fucking winning. I think I speak for everyone when I say thank fucking God this trailer was finally dropped and the game was finally announced for a release date. Because I think I'm not the only one that was worried that this game was just never gonna come out after those leaks dropped. Which I'm happy I never saw, because I saw the trailer and based on what everyone was saying in the comments, it's basically what the leaks were, and it looks fucking awesome. But in Zom, you're not done. Time to lock in on that rumored Venom game that's supposed to be coming out. Or you can work on Spider-Man 3. Or you can go back into developing that Spider-Man multiplayer game that is no longer apparently coming out. Sorry, I'm calm. I'm bitter, but I'm calm. I'm calm. Fuck those stupid ass fucking hackers, man. They ruined fucking everything. But yeah, game looks great. Certified day one buy.
Okay, so I didn't want to make a video because A, it was the holidays, and also B, I wanted to be done for 2025. Like, I'm currently making a bunch of compilation videos for my YouTube right now for all of the videos I have made on TikTok over the past few years. And the last thing I wanted to do was add another video to the pile, but fuck it, we ball. Why, you may ask? Well, that's because a few trailers leaked, and one of them is now publicly available. So I wanted to talk about it, and more accurately, I wanted to talk about one of the conversations around this trailer. And in case you didn't know, I am talking about the Avengers Doomsday trailer, or teaser that they released earlier this morning. If you had not seen it and you don't want to, like, get spoiled on anything, this is gonna have some spoilers. Because it was officially confirmed that Steve Rogers is coming back in Doomsday. And with him coming back, it sparked up the conversation that came up when RDJ was announced to come back as Victor Von Doom, and when Hugh Jackman was confirmed to come back in Deadpool Wolverine as, you know, Wolverine. And that is that these movies are ruining the endings to Endgame and Logan. Basically just any movie that had them have their perfect ending. And if you do genuinely have a problem with that, I'm not gonna say you're wrong for feeling that. But there is one dude that I saw on Twitter talk about it, and he had a few things he wanted to bring up, and I'm just gonna put it in here so that way you guys can see what I'm talking about. Now, I'm not gonna give this motherfucker any kind of attention, but when you say shit like this, and this, that makes me question you as a person and you as a comic book fan. Because I don't know if you are not caught up with the memo or anything, but dying is kind of like a staple in comic books nowadays. Like, it's literally in the job description, right underneath, your parents have to fucking die for your story. Like, I can list off a bunch of characters right now that have died and come back to life. Like Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Flash, and hell, yes, even Captain America. I think people forget he died at the end of Civil War. And not only that, Iron Man has also died, and Hulk has also died. And hell, even one of my favorite characters, Red Hood, he died in 1988 by fan request, and then came back almost 20 years later. So that just, my whole entire point about this is basically just to show that there is a difference between if you are a comic book fan and a comic book movie fan. And by the way, I'm not criticizing you for being a comic book movie fan over a comic book fan. That is totally fine. But with that, you have to understand that comic book movies do not work in the same way that regular movies would. They are based off of a comic, which means some of the comic bookiness of those comics are going to leak through the story. And that includes people never truly staying dead. And hell, even forget what I said about the parents comment, because right now, Thomas Wayne and Jor-El are hopping across the multiverse, or like, there's a lot of shit that is in comics that I hope never comes to the big screen. Point is, if you do not like that Steve Rogers is going to be coming back in Doomsday, you are valid for feeling that way and being skeptical of it. However, the idea that their deaths are now being completely overwritten is honestly not really that sound of an argument when you really think about it. Considering Secret Wars is going to be coming up in a year after that, and soft rebooting everything and recasting them anyways. But that is all I really wanted to say. Have a happy holidays, everybody, and I will be seeing you all in January.
Okay, so there are apparently a lot of rumors right now that are going around saying that Insomniac is planning on making a Venom game, which I hope to God happens. And because of that, I've seen a lot of people running down a bunch of skins they want to see in the game, and I thought I might as well throw a few of my own. Sorry if this video is low energy, I am tired as fuck. Okay, first one I want to see is the Mark Bagley art version of Venom. Not only because A, I think the cell shading would look amazing in the game, but also that face is so freaky and it would look so cool. Another contender I would like to see is Venom's first appearance. I think that would also look really cool. Coming up after that, I would also love to see the 90s Spider-Man series version of Venom. Now, I know we got this kind of like shading for Spider-Man's black suit skin in Spider-Man 2, but that's not how he looked in the 90s cartoon. That was Venom's recolor. And also, genuinely, I think it would be so cool to have this skin in the game. Okay, sticking with the animated theme, I would also love to see a spectacular Spider-Man version of Venom. Not only because it looks cool, but also the size would mesh in perfectly for this game. I also kind of would love to see Insomniac try and do its own thing with the skin, considering it's basically just a classic Venom look that's more bulky. Alright, after that, I would also love to see Ultimate Spider-Man Venom. And I'm not just talking about this one, even though this one's really cool. I'm talking about this fucking monster right here. Like, look at him. You wanna fuck with him? Because I don't wanna fuck with him. Again, I think this would look cool, and I think it would be really cool to have this version in the game. But this one is so much more fucking menacing. Alright, after that, I would also love to see the anti-Venom skin in the game. And I'm not just talking about like the skinnier version here. I would also love to see the bulkier version, because in my opinion, I think they should have a mechanic in the game where it's similar to Spider-Man's Rage mode in Spider-Man 2, where he gets the symbiote on. I think in Venom, that button should be used for him to get more bulky and huge, and I think that would be really cool as a mechanic. Which reminds me, if you want to see me do a video on what I would want to see in a Venom game, comment that. Alright, we're almost done. Next up, I would also love to see Superior Venom. It looks so freaky, and the proportions are just crazy enough where they can put this design in the game. Okay, next one I think would be really cool to see is the Spider-Man 3 version of Venom. Now, I don't like the proportions on this Venom, but I will say this suit looks fucking awesome. If there's only 2 changes I can make to this, it's to make the logos brighter and make them connect. Other than that, perfect Venom look. And last but not least, because I know people will kill me if I don't bring it up, is the Web of Shadows version of Venom. I think the proportions for this one also look really good for the game, and also on top of that, it's got like a bluish purple look whenever there's light hitting it, which looks really cool. Oh, people asking for this one? No. You know what? I ranked all the Star Wars movies for Star Wars month. I could do this for Spider-Man. That's right, I'm gonna rank every single Spider-Man movie. That includes the Sony Spider-Man universe movies without Spider-Man in them. Yeah, just a forewarning, all of them are at the bottom of the list. Like I fucking said, like who asked for this? Like if there's one movie to do in the whole multiverse thing with Spider-Man, it had to be fucking this one. The thing is, they could have made it kind of interesting if they stuck with a bunch of the concepts of putting Spider-Man in the fucking movie. Now, Kraven, it wasn't bad. It was just boring. Not good, not bad, just boring. Like, I shit you not, I cannot remember a single thing that happened in this fucking film other than the fact that we had a really good chameleon design that was wasted at the end of the fucking movie. But, it doesn't make me as mad as the last one, but it's just more forgettable. Now, even though this movie made a more $1 billion and was able to get an Oscar, several Oscars for the cinematic line of its Morbin time, this movie is still pretty fucking shit. Like, I'm sorry, I get it, the memes were funny, but this movie didn't get to do fucking anything it really wanted to do. And you can tell because there was such a good concept behind this in the fucking trailers. I will say though, this movie's a lot more fun if you're drinking with friends at 3 a.m. Now, in case you're wondering, the next one's up for the Venom franchise. And if you guessed that, congratulations. And yeah, this one pisses me off out of all 3 of them. Like, don't get me wrong, this one's still better than the last 3 I mentioned, but this one still pisses me off with the fact that it fucks everything with Carnage. There's so many things it could have shown, like the fact that Cletus and Carnage are bonded by blood, or the fact that they say I ain't sent away because they're symbiotic! And don't even get me started on that fuck-ass cliffhanger post-credit scene! Venom Last Dance was not as bad, though, as that one. Like, I know people say that this one's more boring than Leatherface Carnage, but you cannot deny the fact that Tom Hardy fucking carries this movie. Tom Hardy boosts up the charisma in this movie tenfold, and I gotta thank him for that at least. However, definitely the top one out of all the Sony Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man in them is Venom 1. Tom Hardy was great, the voice for Venom was fucking fantastic, and he actually looks, I think, the best in this movie. That villain was fucking dumb though. And also gotta say, the original voice actor for Venom, I think, got it the best, and may he rest in peace. And yeah, I guess that's a ranking of all the Sony Spider-Man movies. Stay tuned for the next part where I cover the actual Spider-Man movies.
So it's been a month. I posted at the end of September. It is damn near Halloween. It's been almost a month. But now that we're back, let's just continue with one thing I was doing before I went on my little hiatus. Let's go back to ranking all the Spider-Man movies. Now I know I'm gonna anger the Spider-Man community with this one, but I'm sorry. This is not a good movie! No one will ever convince me that this is genuinely a good movie. The only good things about it are the visual effects and the Peter-Gwen romance. That is it. Other than that, the story is everywhere. We had to wrap up everything with Peter and his parents, and we had a bunch of deleted scenes that should have been in the movie. Then there was everything with Gwen going to Oxford. Then there was everything with Harry dying. Then there was everything with Electro. Like, there was just too much. If you wanted to make the movie better, save all the Harry stuff for Amazing Spider-Man 3. Honestly, if you wanted my idea for what the Amazing Spider-Man 2 should have been, look up Troy Oboyo 17's rewrite of the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think it's great. Okay, so I know, again, if the Spider-Man fans didn't already hate me, they're really gonna hate me. This is better than the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Fight me. Don't get me wrong, it's not great. It's more boring. Although I will say, even though it was boring, there was still more things I liked about this one, other than just the relationship between Peter and his love interest. Like, I think the comedy hit well, and also, I don't care what anyone says, this movie had consequences. Not every Spider-Man story ever has to have comic level or Raimi level consequences. Sometimes the consequences can be as small as Peter just not being able to be with the person he likes during a show. Or, the biggest consequence in the movie, having his identity leaked. And also, I'm sorry, you cannot tell me that any scene in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is better than the Mysterio illusion scene in this movie. Fight me. And I guess to finish off the trifecta of the unloved stepchild in each of these franchises, Spider-Man 3. Now, is this movie bad? Yes. Did it have enjoyable things about it, though? Also, yes. I will say, though, the one thing I don't like about this movie is that it pretty much character assassinated Peter. Like, and making him cocky and an asshole and shit before he even gets the black suit. Like, I kind of get what Sam Raimi was going for, showing that it was amplified after he got the black suit. But I would've liked it if it was more subtly being, like, kind of up his own ass about everything. Although I will not put all that on Sam Raimi. He was forced to do it by the biggest asshole at Sony. Who the fuck invited you? Get the fuck out! Alright, I'm running out of time. I guess I do forward to for the next batch of movies, I guess. God, I've been gone so long, I don't know what the fuck to do on here anymore. Never taking a break again. Yeah, so I planned on doing a video like a few days ago, but apparently when I thought I was at the tail end of being sick, I actually wasn't. I was literally getting to the point where when I wanted to do a video, my voice would just be completely fucking gone. Like, literally, no matter how much water I drank, my voice is just like, yeah, no, not today, bud, wrap it up. However, I'm feeling better now, so what I'm gonna do is something I haven't done in a good few weeks, and I'm going to continue ranking all the Spider-Man movies. I ranked all the Sony Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man in them, and then I ranked what I consider to be the quote-unquote worst movies of each trilogy, that being in order of Amazing Spider-Man 2, Far From Home, and Spider-Man 3. Today we're gonna rank the ones that are pretty universally liked, and you can't really find many bad things about them. So these ones are literally like, you can place them anywhere in the ranking, and I can honestly see your argument for any of them. And kicking off the list, I'm gonna start with No Way Home. Now, I'm not saying this movie is bad at all. I personally just think that the next two are just a little better than it. Because the first act was great, the second act was kind of slow, and then the third act, don't even get me started with the fucking third act. I will not go into the same pipeline a lot of people are trying to go into with saying that this is just nostalgia soup. It is not nostalgia soup. Every character has a reason to be here. And I'm just so happy we never have to see this fucking thing ever again. Coming up after that is The Amazing Spider-Man. Now look, I know a lot of people have this in their top 3, but God, there are so many good ones in this that it's not gonna crack the top 3. I'm sorry. Was Andrew great in this movie? Yes. Was every actor and actress in this movie great? 100%. Was the story really good? Absolutely, but there's just a few things that kind of irk me a little bit. Like, first off, why not just actually just say great power, great responsibility? Why not just say it? He's on record of saying. And second of all, like, I wish that, like, a lot of the scenes with Lizard didn't get deleted, because it would have added a lot more to his character and to the overall themes of the film. But again, it's not bad. It's still a good watch, and no one will ever convince me that it is a bad movie. I'm just gonna say this right now. Spider-Man Twitters are gonna crucify me for this, but I do not care. This is not a bad movie, and it never was. Do they go too much into the Iron Boy Jr. of it all? 100%, I agree. But that is something that the movies later critique about him. Other than that, I don't care what anyone says. This movie actually fully captured what it was like to be in high school at the time of it releasing. Because, spoiler alert, yeah, the bully in your school that's for you is specifically sometimes in your own social group. Now, do I believe that they should have renamed it to be someone else and then have Flash Thompson be another character to kind of show why Peter loves going to be Spider-Man so we can escape from all that? Absolutely, 100%. But again, no one will ever convince me that this is a bad movie or a bad origin for Peter. I do agree that it's fucking stupid they never name drop Uncle Ben in this movie, not even one time. Yeah, I don't have an excuse. I need to be better with this shit. I swear to God, I'm on this app almost like at least twice a day, and yet I have not recorded a fucking thing. So let's change up by finishing off something I started a few months ago, but have not finished off yet. Let's continue ranking all the Spider-Man movies. There are 4 left. I'm going to try and knock them all out right now. Thing is, also, this part is way harder because literally all of these can be mixed around. So it really is just your personal preference. All of these are pretty much on the same level for me, so don't worry about me thinking one's better than the other. Coming in at number 4, just under bronze, is Across the Spider-Verse. Now, a lot of people have one complaint about this movie, which is the fact that it doesn't feel complete, and I personally disagree. That's kind of like saying The Empire Strikes Back isn't a good Star Wars movie or Avengers Infinity War isn't a good Marvel/Avengers movie because it's not a complete story. Like, it ends on a cliffhanger. That is how those movies are constructed. That is not a negative for the movie, and the fact that it makes you want more is not a bad thing. So yeah, personally, never got that argument, but hey, to each their own. Now, again, this is not really technically a ranked part, but if we're putting it in my rewatchability of these movies... Okay, listen, hear me out. I am not saying this movie is bad. Far from it. It is probably the best Spider-Man movie we've had to date, and that is not even taking the fact that Brand New Day is not even out yet. This is probably one of the best sequels ever made to probably one of the best superheroes ever created. The rewatchability on this one is pretty high for me, but it's not as high as the next 2 on the list. But this story still very much resonates with me, especially being in my mid-20s now. Like, it just resonates so close to me at this current point in time. However, this is a biased list, and I am sorry, this movie got me into the character and into superheroes in general. If Spider-Man 2 is the best sequel, this is the best origin. It is the best when it comes to the entire construction of the story. It's the best when it comes to the characteristics of all the characters. The only one character that everyone kind of agrees is kind of meh in this movie is Harry, but even then it's not that bad. And honestly, dare I say, between Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man 1, MJ is the best in Spider-Man 1. Like, people make fun of her screaming and all that all the time, but I gotta remind you all, like, she's like 18 in this movie, and if we're pushing it, maybe closer to 19. And I'm also gonna say Peter's jokes in this movie are far better than his other 2. Now, I said that these movies aren't technically ranked, but if we are ranking them, this is gonna be the best Spider-Man movie, hands down, no questions asked. It brought back that whimsiness of actually being a superhero, trying to live up to another person's legacy. And it brought Miles into the mainstream where people for a while didn't really like the character. This movie, I think, made him a household name and also a fan favorite. No more of having him be just an alternate suit for Peter in a video game. Yes, I'm looking at you, Amazing Spider-Man 2. But it gets everything right. It gets his character down right. It gets all the Spider people actually feeling different instead of just being just a copy-paste of the base personalities of Peter. And if there's one thing I wish we saw in this movie, though, it was I just wish we spent more time with Miles' universe Peter, because he seemed like he would have been genuinely fun to spend more time with. Okay, it's done. It's done. It's done. I'm done filming these videos now. I'm gonna go back to work and try to relax. Yeah, try and relax at work. That's not really gonna make any sense, but fuck it. I said I was gonna do it, so let's fucking do it. Here are Marvel characters I want to see in Dead by Daylight if they ever did a crossover. And funnily enough, a lot of you kind of like picked some of the picks I already had for what I wanted for Marvel characters, so let's get into it. Right off the rip, I'm gonna go with Venom. And a lot of people are thinking, like, what can you possibly do with Venom? He's just big, he's a big brute, that's pretty much it. And I gotta say, no sir! He could turn invisible, he could shapeshift, he could be undetectable by Spider-Man's spider sense. There is so much that he can do. And also on top of the fact that he literally regains energy by eating people's fucking brains. Can you imagine that, Maury, of him just biting someone's fucking head off? That would be fucking crazy, right? Oh wait, I'm sorry, did you say fucking crazy? Yeah, no, anything Venom could do, Carnage could do, but 1,000 times worse. For you and as a survivor, not him as a character, because he could do so much terrible shit to you. Like, let's see, he can completely turn into a puddle. He can shapeshift and make weapons out of his own body. Hell, he can absorb the energy from anyone he fucking comes in contact with. Depending on the version. The comic version of like the regular 616 universe can't do that, but Ultimate Universe 100% can. Next character I thought of is the Lizard. Now I know some people are gonna say, why pick Lizard? You already picked Killer Croc last time. And the reason I'm saying Lizard over Killer Croc though, is because Lizard is so much more scary. Mainly because you don't know whether you're getting the actual intelligent genius underneath or the wild fucking animal. Last Spider-Man villain I'm gonna include is Morbius. Like, depending on the version, he can do a lot of scary ass shit. Like, what if he has his speed and everything like he does in the movie, and even in the comics, and then in order to kill somebody, he has to turn into his human bat version from the 90s cartoon. So he's stealthy when he wants to try and get the kill, but then he comes in and then turns into an absolute monster in order to get it. And the last one on my list, which I'm surprised a lot of people don't really acknowledge, considering he was a substantial part of the first half of Daredevil Born Again Season 1, is Muse. Now, to the people that don't know who Muse is, let me politely explain to you who this character is. Now, he is a serial killer, but the big thing about him is that he used the blood of his victims to turn it into paint to then spray murals across New York City. And in case you don't know, blood is kind of hard to get out of shit, which is why in the comics and even in the show, you cannot remove his paintings because they're stained with literal blood. And then after he died in the comics, he came back as a literal fucking demon. I just genuinely think that this would be a really cool character to have in the game, also to kind of give a wider, like, expansive look at characters that are in Marvel. And that's about all I have for that. I guess if you guys want a part 2, I'll make a part 2 with some of your suggestions and say what I think about them. You know, I was gonna do this video yesterday, but then throughout the entire day, my body was basically saying, the fuck you are, so, yeah, I didn't end up doing that. But now that I'm feeling, you know, slightly better, I want to go through all of you guys' comments on the Dead by Daylight videos, because God, you guys left some. A lot of your guys' suggestions as well were actually really cool, and I really wanted to touch on them, so let's just get right into it. I will say Samantha came out fucking swinging with both DC and Marvel. So her first one was for Marvel, Mr. Sinister would be awesome for Killer, and Jessica Jones as a Survivor, and honestly, that's a good idea. Especially with Jessica Jones as a Survivor, I think that would work really well for the game. But she did not stop there, because for DC, she said pretty much every absolute universe villain for Killer, and for Survivor, Renee Montoya, which again, really good idea. Although I agree with somebody that commented this that I did not screenshot saying that Absolute Bane would be overkill, and I 100% agree. Absolute Bane would just take up the entire map. But we also have Spectacular Spider-Man 179, who listed off a few of the ideas for killers that I had, but there are a few that I want to touch on. The Black Suit Spider-Man, Batman from the Catwoman Guardian of Gotham comic, and Clayface. Those would be fucking awesome. Like, imagine the second MJ mission being basically what it's like to go up against Black Suit Spider-Man and having him just be full animal. And then with Clayface, I think that'd be really fun. Like, imagine you are able to, like, turn into one of the survivors to kind of, like, trick them and only have it be for, like, a few seconds. And then you can come up on somebody and then take them out and then you turn right back into Clayface. I think that'd be so much fun. But then there was this Batman from the Guardian of Gotham comic, and I have not seen that, so let's take a quick look and see how that... Yeah, that could work. Honestly, this would look pretty fucking terrifying to go up against. All right, 2 more people. So we also have Triples3273, who said that Ghost Rider would be interesting to see be forced to work for the entity, and that sounds like so much fun. I even commented on his on his comment, basically saying like, imagine like the Mori was him doing the penance stare, and then he responded with, imagine like that after you do the Mori, the person just walks around aimlessly, and like they're basically just like a soulless corpse walking throughout the map. That is fucking metal. And then last but not least, we have my dear friend TJ Does Cosplay saying Jigsaw or Jack-o'-lantern. And yes, I looked them up, and yes, they would be great. Like, I already knew about Jigsaw, but I completely forgot about Jack-o'-lantern. That would be fucking awesome to do. But my favorites, hands down, were Jessica Jones as a survivor, Ghost Rider, and pretty much all of these. These, like, you guys killed it. Now, if you guys have any more ideas, put them down in the comments. But until then, that's it. Okay, so I didn't want to make a video because A, it was the holidays, and also B, I wanted to be done for 2025. Like, I'm currently making a bunch of compilation videos for my YouTube right now for all of the videos I have made on TikTok over the past few years. And the last thing I wanted to do was add another video to the pile, but fuck it, we ball. Why, you may ask? Well, that's because a few trailers leaked, and one of them is now publicly available. So I wanted to talk about it, and more accurately, I wanted to talk about one of the conversations around this trailer. And in case you didn't know, I am talking about the Avengers Doomsday trailer, or teaser that they released earlier this morning. If you had not seen it and you don't want to, like, get spoiled on anything, this is gonna have some spoilers. Because it was officially confirmed that Steve Rogers is coming back in Doomsday. And with him coming back, it sparked up the conversation that came up when RDJ was announced to come back as Victor Von Doom, and when Hugh Jackman was confirmed to come back in Deadpool Wolverine as, you know, Wolverine. And that is that these movies are ruining the endings to Endgame and Logan. Basically just any movie that had them have their perfect ending. And if you do genuinely have a problem with that, I'm not gonna say you're wrong for feeling that. But there is one dude that I saw on Twitter talk about it, and he had a few things he wanted to bring up, and I'm just gonna put it in here so that way you guys can see what I'm talking about. Now, I'm not gonna give this motherfucker any kind of attention, but when you say shit like this, and this, that makes me question you as a person and you as a comic book fan. Because I don't know if you are not caught up with the memo or anything, but dying is kind of like a staple in comic books nowadays. Like, it's literally in the job description, right underneath, your parents have to fucking die for your story. Like, I can list off a bunch of characters right now that have died and come back to life. Like Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Flash, and hell, yes, even Captain America. I think people forget he died at the end of Civil War. And not only that, Iron Man has also died, and Hulk has also died. And hell, even one of my favorite characters, Red Hood, he died in 1988 by fan request, and then came back almost 20 years later. So that just, my whole entire point about this is basically just to show that there is a difference between if you are a comic book fan and a comic book movie fan. And by the way, I'm not criticizing you for being a comic book movie fan over a comic book fan. That is totally fine. But with that, you have to understand that comic book movies do not work in the same way that regular movies would. They are based off of a comic, which means some of the comic bookiness of those comics are going to leak through the story. And that includes people never truly staying dead. And hell, even forget what I said about the parents comment, because right now, Thomas Wayne and Jor-El are hopping across the multiverse, or like, there's a lot of shit that is in comics that I hope never comes to the big screen. Point is, if you do not like that Steve Rogers is going to be coming back in Doomsday, you are valid for feeling that way and being skeptical of it. However, the idea that their deaths are now being completely overwritten is honestly not really that sound of an argument when you really think about it. Considering Secret Wars is going to be coming up in a year after that and soft rebooting everything and recasting them anyways. But that is all I really wanted to say. Have a happy holidays, everybody, and I will be seeing you all in January.